All right. So also, I would like you to add to the chat now, if you have access, what are your main reasons and interest about the ability to sync Action Network and Action Builder? Would it be A, recruiting members and volunteers, B, tracking donors and fundraising, C, increasing event attendance, or D, and other? And you can provide a response there. So you want to recruit members and volunteers with that sync. Do you want to track donors in fundraising? You're looking to increase event attendance or track event attendance, or some other reason? What is your main reason for wanting to learn about this or use the ANAB integration? And again, you can just put A, B, C, or D. So Michael said recruiting members and volunteers. Very good. And Daniel wants to sync data to and from a data warehouse. Interesting, but also good. Thank you for that response. And then Daniel is saying volunteer recruitment and then also increasing event attendance. So in fact, there's many different ways that you can use the integration. Really, you can get creative with what you are looking to track, but you're really kind of with the knowledge of knowing what both platforms are great for. We'll go into that and I'll talk a little bit about that on this next slide. With mobilizing and organizing is what we believe are essential to building progressive power. You need to have both. So a little background on our tool sets and why we prioritize this full integration is that Action Network, as you probably know, is our mobilization tool that is digital organizing. So mass marches, events, rallies that bring in new activists who are all fired up and about your issue. And then after the event, you want to be able to use time-tested organizing tactics like one-on-ones, assessments, and wall charts to help you identify and develop leaders who can take on the work of building your organization and growing your reach. So next time you'll turn out even more activists and empower more organizers to develop leaders from that new group of activists. So that's the idea of being able to do this holistic mobilizing to organizing approach, or take that approach, and we believe it will build stronger, more impactful, and more sustainable progressive movement with these tools. We're definitely dedicated with listening to organizers that are using it, organizations large and small, in order to create a more seamless power building and using the seamless power building model. So some examples of this include, and we talked a little bit about this in the poll, but someone signed up for your event or they signed a petition in Action Network. Now you can make your activist info appear in Action Builder without doing any type of uploads, where your volunteers can then follow up with them on a one-on-one, ask them more questions about, why did they come to the event, how they might get more involved, etc. If someone tells you that they want to get your newsletter or opt in to get mass text about your events, you can actually subscribe them to receive those newsletters and those mass text in Action Builder. So you can manually subscribe them to be a part of that list in Action Network if they don't exist in Action Network for your mass communications purposes. You can set up an information flow automatically between the two tools, mapping responses in Action Builder to the tags in Action Network. So it's important to really kind of understand how to use the tagging functionality in Action Network, because it's key to how you're going to be able to sync that information. And then lastly, you can use, my examples, you can use Action Network ladders. You can have information flowing from Action Builder to create custom automated responses based on that data. So you can use tags as a trigger with the ladders tool in Action Network in order to send automated mass messages to those folks, those groups. Example, your volunteers in Action Builder. So those are just some examples of how you might want to use it. You probably start off really simple with just using it to actually populate your campaigns in Action Builder. That would be my recommendation. So in talking about key terms and concepts, so a sync or integration, and sorry if this is something that folks already know, I like to assume that everyone comes in knowing what I know, which is I need to know definitions so everyone's on the same page with terminology. So with sync and integration, basically it just allows you to share information between two platforms automatically. So instead of having to do anything manual, touch anything, go from one platform to the next, you can allow that information just runs in the background, and you don't have to worry about it. What data is transferred on once your integration is live, any information that's connected in Action Builder campaign will be matched or mapped to fields in Action Network based upon that email address and Action Network, and their response in the tags associated with Action Builder. So it's one Action Network. The key concept is one Action Network group is tied to an Action Builder campaign at a time. So you'll see that in the live demo here. You have to have access to an Action Network API key. So that means you must be a donating partner with us at Action Network in order to make this work. We talked a little bit about Action Network tags, but Action Network tags is a way for you to be able to segment information in Action Network. So in Action Network, you have your activist list, which is basically just the people that are on your email list. And you can actually segment different segments of your people on your list using these tags. And I'll give an example of that. So the sync works based upon what's called a magic tag in Action Builder. The magic tag is something that is created once you turn the integration on in the campaign or at the campaign level. And again, the information is going to be synced between the two tool sets based upon those responses in Action Builder. So if I respond to a field in Action Builder, for example, that my favorite color is blue, I would be able to receive the blue tag in Action Network. So all the favorite color people blue, I'd be able to segment that group in Action Network and be able to send them favorite color blue, newsletter, for example. All right. So moving on, I'm going to guide you through each step here as we move through the live demo itself. So we'll walk through creating a tag in Action Network. We'll walk through how you can add a tag with an Action Network form on fields. And then we'll also talk about how you can apply tags to activists with mass operations. So there are several ways that you can add tags to your folks in Action Network, which is, again, I kind of talked about that a couple times at this point, but that's really going to be key to how you get the sync of information kind of flowing and making it actually useful, is applying those tags to the people that need to be a part of the campaign in Action Builder. So I'll walk through the various ways that you can do that on this training. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk through by the slides here on the steps. Then I'll actually model the steps as we do it in the live demo. So I'm going to talk about what we're going to do, and then we're going to do that together. So the first step here is that we're going to start by copying the API key from your Action Network group. And the way that you'll be able to do that is you'll be able to go into your Action Network group, and then in the details menu, you'll find API and sync at the bottom. And again, if you are partnered with Action Network that is donating, or a paid partnership, at least a movement partnership, you'll have access to that API key. And your API key should be kept secret. The next step is you're going to go into your Action Builder account. Again, you have to have admin access in order to set up the integration. So an admin account level is needed in Action Builder in order to turn on the integration. So your first step in Action Builder is that you're going to go under the admin menu, and then you're going to paste the API key that you just copied from Action Network, for that group in Action Network. And you can set up multiple groups so that you have access to that. So if you wanted to add another group, you would click Add New Group. Second is in the selected Action Builder campaign. So again, it's campaign based. So for the campaign that you want to set the sync up on, or for the campaign, I like to use the word populate. So for the campaign that you want to populate with the people or the activists from Action Network, you go to that campaign. Sorry, I just paused. Someone is coming into the room. For that campaign, you're going to go in and be able to select underneath the integrations tab, you're going to go and select the group that you want to sync with the campaign. Once you select that group, automatically you're going to get this magic tag that you're going to see open up in a little modal box. And then while that's happening, that tag is actually automatically also being generated in Action Network. So this is a tag that's going to be created and visible in Action Network and available for you to be able to use to add to various activists that you want to sync over. So this is important to know that, you know, the magic tag is created, but in order to make the integration work as intended, that tag has to be on or associated with the activist. And there's various ways you can add that tag, and we'll go through those steps today. And then the last thing we want to do is we want to sync tags and responses by mapping the Action Builder response to the Action Network tag you want to sync. To the, not the to. I thought I fixed that. That's weird. All right. So then now this is just an example of how that would work. So on the left-hand side, we're seeing that we had a field that said sign petition and the response was yes. And then the tag that someone received in Action Network is going to be a petition signer, and vice versa. So we know that anyone that's a petition signer in Action Network has responded yes to signing the petition in Action Builder. All right, so this is the training scenario, but for today, we're actually going to base our training scenario on our actual training here. So I'm going to pop over to my live view and we'll walk through those steps here. Actually, let me open up Action Network really quickly. We'll walk those steps together that we talked about just in those previous slides. So this is my training group in Action Network. I have training.actionbuilder.org. And in this 104 group, I have a campaign where I have a sync turned on where I have actually included all the folks that have signed up for this training, this 104. So we have 76 people that have signed up for this and are now a part of this group. So a couple of things, I am logged in as a admin. So you do need to have admin account access in order to make this work. And just putting my group up here for Action Network so that I can walk through those steps. Actually, let me show an example of a new group. Let's see. Of course, my internet wants to be slow today. All right. So here's my group. You should be able to see my screen. Give me a plus sign if you are. And you're ready to see these steps. You can give me a plus sign or a thumbs up just so I can know that you're seeing my correct screen. Is everyone seeing the Action Network group? Awesome. Thanks, Michael. So in order to set up that integration, you're going to go to the details menu as I explained. You're going to go to API sync, and then you'll click on that. Then you'll be able to copy your API key, which should be kept secret. You can revoke this. You're going to copy this set of characters and copy that so that you have it available to you. So we know we went to details and then we went to API. All right, so then I'm going to go back to my Action Builder account that I want to turn that sync on for. I'm going to go to my menu here off to the right, and now I have admin menu access, and then I would go to integrations. I would select the Action Network integration. I would click Add New Group. I would paste my API key into here, and I'll click Add New Group. Since I already added that group, it's not going to allow me to add the same API key, but this is where you'd be able to add that information in. So I have two groups in here with my integration set up. And you can only set one group to one campaign at a time. So for me, it's either going to be my Action Builder group here in Action Network, or my training group, which is called Newly Established Organization. So if I go back into my campaign here, which I have the sync turned on for, I'll show you the next step is that you want to set it at the campaign level. So what I did was I went to the Customize tab, Integrations, Action Network, and now I have to have access to be able to add that group. And my group here that I have access to is Action Builder, so I turned that on. And what I had created was a tag here that was generated. So we can actually walk through those steps. I'm just going to quickly go to my campaigns. I'm going to duplicate a campaign as an example. So we'll do my education reparations campaign. Duplicate that campaign real quick. And so now if I wanted to turn on my integration here, I go again at the campaign level, integration, Action Network. And now since I have the integration turned on at the account level, I have access at the campaign level to pull those in. So I'm going to pull in the newly established organization group that I have in Action Network. Then I'm going to sync the people. You might, for your Action Builder instance, you might be tracking contractors or college campuses. You can turn the sync on that way if you want to, but most of the time, considering the functionality of Action Network, it's going to be populating that campaign or syncing information about people or activists. So you can see that now I got magically generated a tag called Action Builder Training Education Reparations -22 -55, and this just is automatically generated. So at the same time as I turned this on, the tag was created in my group here. So now my next step here is I can actually choose what information do I actually want to sync. At the basic level, you might just want to sync the people. So instead of, this is a very efficient way to get the people into your wall chart without having to do an upload. But in addition to that, you probably want to track specific information too. So if there's a specific information that I want to track about people, and I can pick the field here. So I could say education type and community college. I would want to have an associated tag here that I could sync that said community college. So this gives me a good option now to go and talk a little bit about tags in Action Network. Now that I want to actually have a tag that syncs to the response community college, I need a tag that tags people with community college and Action Network. So we're going to talk about making sure that we have this tag available in Action Network so that can sync people over. But we also want people to get a tag that says community college if they respond to community college here in Action Builder. So we need to set up those tags. So let's walk through the steps of setting up those tags and the various ways you can do it. All right, cool. So I'm going to go back to Action Network here. I'm in my group. Step one is you can actually add tags at the activist level. So if I go to activist and I click on one of my activists here. Actually, I should pick on someone from the group. Let's see. Alex. Let me see if I can find Alex. I may not have access. Actually, I think I might be in the wrong group. Let me go to my group. Let me search my own name. You can also search by tags. I think actually the faster way to do it is to go to people, activist, and I'll search under activist here. Actually, let's pick on Tiffany. So one way to add a tag is to go into the individual record. Obviously not the most efficient way, but if I went to edit activist here and I went down here to tags, I could add a tag here. What was our tag here? A/B training. So if I start to search A/B training, I have access to that tag. So the tag A/B training education reparations -22-55 is my magic tag. So I can click save activist. And now this person will start to be a part of this sync. So in an hour or so, Tiffany will be a part of my campaign, my new campaign here, and start populating my wall chart. Another way that I might want to add tags to my activists in my group, let's say I have like many more that I need to add, is one, I can do it by upload. So if I have a new upload into Action Network, I can add the tag on that upload. So I go to people menu and then a new upload here. And you'll see on my new upload that, do I have any files? I have a file I can upload. And I gave it a new name. I said, new, what was this upload about? EDU, HBCU signups. And I can make a new tag here. And I want to call it, what did I want to call it? I wanted to call it community college. So I say community college with a new tag, hit save. And then I also want to add on this upload my A/B training education magic tag. So now when I upload this list, this tag is going to be associated with everyone on the list. So that's way number 2, to add the tag so that they can be part of the sync. The next way is via actions. So for example, on any action, really any action that has a form associated with it, we can add a tag on that form. And we even add a tag on a field. But today I'll walk through how you add a tag on the form so that whenever someone fills that out, they'll be a part of they'll receive a tag as well. So let's say I have a newsletter form here set up, and they click manage. I see your question, Trina. I'll see if I can get to that with enough time here. So at the basic level here on the newsletter form, we can see that I have this form here set up. And now I can have it so that when anyone submits this form, they'll receive a tag. So let's walk through how I do that. I would simply publish the form first, and then I can edit tags. Get rid of this tag. I'm going to put on my new tag. Hit save. And then to Trina's point, there also is an option to be able to tag folks via the field. And that really involves setting up some custom fields here where we can add tags on those. Actually, you can create tags manually. Obviously, let's say you want to set up a whole bunch of tags at once. You can actually do it by upload, where you do it in the upload file itself, adding tags and adding multiple tags separated by commas. But you can actually add a tag here on a field as well. So if I go to edit form, and you go and edit that form as well. Now I'm in the form editor. And once you are able to use this drag and drop editor, I'm kind of showing that I can drop this over here to the left from the right. You'd be able to click on this information here and being able to edit the kind of text in the label required to put in there. But this is just how you would kind of edit the form here from the front end side. You're going to want to be able to actually add your tagging information from that details menu from what I've showed you. But you're going to have to set that up from the details menu. So if you wanted to add that tagging information now onto a field, you would have to edit that information from this form builder. And so now we can see that I've actually added that information in here. I'm going to go ahead and save it to the next step, because I actually want to show what it looks like on a record once I add those tags. And Trina, I know I didn't get hugely into the steps there. It's a little bit, there's a few more steps to your point, but I do have a training that goes more deeply into that. It's called our forms training, which I'll send you a link to that, and also a link to that documentation. But that, to your point, that's another way that you can tag individuals is on the field level. And what we mean by that is when we view the form here, in addition to adding the tag on someone because they successfully submitted the form here, we can also make it so that they receive a specific tag based upon the text or however they answer a specific question on the form. And the way that you would adjust that information, again, is you'd be able to do that under custom fields and tags. We can take a look at it real quick. So this is where you would do that kind of customization, is in these fields here, and being able to edit that information. So we've gone through a couple ways to be able to add the tags, but I'm going to save the best for last as far as like really kind of getting your sync going. Because the thing is, so this is just the tag information. So here I have a radio form button that I created, and I want to be able to tag it and tag the activist. So when an activist checks submit on a radio button option here, they will get a tag added to the record corresponding to the option that they selected. So here I actually have some option tags set up. So for my optional label here, I'm asking a question about some survey questions, and here I have a tag that I can say I want to associate it with them based upon how they respond to that question. So the main label here is what interests you most, and this is going to be a radio. So they're going to kind of click on which one makes the most sense. And if they select embedding a form on my website, for example, I can say that they get a certain tag based upon that. So that's how I would set that up there. So that's an example of that. But the last thing I want to show here with how you can add tags so that sync gets set up in Action Builder is that we probably have activists in Action Network that we know that we want to be a part of that sync to our group, to our campaign and Action Network, Action Builder. Woo, a lot of actions. But we're not going to actually upload them because they're not necessarily new. We're not going to go one by one. It's not going to be retroactive because it's like they're already in the system. They're not refilling out a form. And we're not going to ask them to fill out a form just so they can be part of the sync. So the way that we want to be able to actually add that, that new magic tag from Action Builder is to do it by reports in something that we call mass operations, but really you do it with the reporting tool. I feel like it's a little known function that you can do, but I'm going to show you how you do it now. And this is going to be the main way that you get folks into that sync. So I'm going to go to people, and then I'm going to go to reports, and we're going to create a report so that we can add a tag in bulk. But the great thing with tags is, I mean, the great thing with reports is that you can get pretty specific. So I could say that I want to create a new report here. I'll give it a name. I'm gonna say new AB campaign. And now I can say who I want to include. So maybe I only want to include people that took a certain action. So I only want to include people that, you know, took a previous action, or maybe I only want to include people that are part of a ladder, or maybe I only want to include certain donors or people that already had existing tags, maybe from last year or something. So I can pick the criteria. If I want to just pick everybody that happens to be in my group, I might want to do that too. I'll do save and select data. These are the fields that are associated. Since I'm not really doing a report per se, I'm not really concerned about that. I really just want the people. So let me do that. I'm going to do save and get results. So now it's calculating of the activists on my list who meet that criteria of what I want to be in my campaign. And again, the folks coming into your campaign and action builder, they might be folks that said they want to volunteer, or maybe they're people that have taken action, or maybe they've, you know, probably more customary, they've attended a certain number of events, a certain type of events. I will go to, once it stops calculating. I will go to mass operations here once it stops calculating. I must have really picked the mega of all activists to add here. Maybe I should just edit this report actually. So I'm going to remove this tag and just add that. And save and select data. Right, so it's going to pull in all those activists now, and then the next thing I want to do in order to add that tag so that people can get synced over to my campaign is to use the mass operations. And under mass operations, you can say add a tag to all, and this is going to take a minute for it to calculate. We're kind of running out of time, but I would click add tag to all, and it's going to give me the option to add the tag to all the people in the report. So that's what you're going to want to do once the information. Okay, here it goes. So I got quite a big list. I'm going to do add tag to all, and I'm going to add that AB training tag that's a part of the sync. So my magic tag, and I would click add tag. And now, once I confirm that, all the folks on that list will receive that tag all at one time, and then they'd be able to be synced over here to this campaign. So the next thing I want to do is go back to integrations here. I really want to set this up. I should have access to my tags like I want it to. So I go to people. And again, I wanted to know about community college. So I'm going to say education type, community college, and then I'd be able to pick community college from my list. It should be at the top, right? And probably need to refresh this. So it does take some time for the sync to run. And I know the engineering team is working on getting that optimized and a little bit faster. But right now it does take a bit over an hour in order for that sync to run. We do have some troubleshooting advice, which I'll go into now if you run into any type of issues with that sync. It's community college. So now you can see, I can click that blue check mark, and now if someone says that their education type is community college, they'll get that community college tag in Action Network. And if I someone's tag with community college in Action Network, they'll get community college in Action Builder. So that's how the response type and tag sync works. And obviously you can basically sync whatever type of information that you need to track. And then from the front interface, it'll look something like being able to add that information in. So let's add a record. Let's add me, great person. And now I have access to be able to add this information on myself or as a part of a task, what have you. All right, so I wanted to show you really quickly our force integration steps. So I'll walk through that here. Let's say for some reason your sync doesn't seem to have run, which again, we're seeing less and less of that being an issue. But if you ever run into the issue, there is a way to have it run via force sync. And it really involves being able to add a tag in Action Network that makes the sync run, essentially looking like there's a new piece of information that's been added. The way that the sync is set up now is that when new information is added on an individual activist, it does have that sync run into Action Builder. So I will share the steps here in the chat so that folks have access to that as well. It's pretty straightforward. You set up a tag. You actually turn that tag on as a response sync in Action Builder. And then you would add that response to everyone on your wall chart. If you do that, it will make the sync run, and it generally takes about an hour or so. So I saw a question from Nathaniel of how can we export data out of Action Builder and Action Network. So if you want to export information from your wall chart, you do need admin access. So for example, if I wanted to export everyone from my group here in the 104 Action Network integration, I'd be able to go to export, and you can export the records this way. They become exported as a CSV file, and you receive a link to that file in your email under your user account. So again, being able to add responses in bulk on the Action Builder side, you want to use Quick Apply in order to do that. So for example, if I wanted to add a piece of info here to everyone on my list, I'd be able to do that via Quick Apply. So I could say everyone on this list attended the training on a specific date, and I could choose that date, hit next, and I can toggle this on and off, but if I wanted to apply it to everyone, I could do that as well. So these are a couple different ways where you can have information updated in bulk or have your campaigns populated in Action Builder without doing copious uploads, and also just really helps you to be able to keep information within those two platforms where you're doing your organizing. So to close, the workflow really looks like being able to find out who are the most engaged people via Action Network and sync those folks into individual campaigns in Action Builder via the sync. So key pieces here that, again, we started in Action Network. We went to the details menu, we grabbed our API, we turned on the integration at the admin level via the admin menu and integrations. Here you can add as many groups as you need. or that you have access to that you want to sync from Action Network. But again, it is one group per one campaign at a time. So at the campaign level, we created a brand new campaign, and we turned the sync on at the campaign level as well. So you go to the Customize tab, Integrations. Here we have access to our groups. And then once we turn that sync on, we got a magic tag. We then use this magic tag in Action Network to apply to any of the activists that we want to be a part of the campaign. And then we noted that if we wanted to add folks that are already in our platform, our best way to do that is with reports and using mass operations, add the tag. If we want new people to be added to that campaign moving forward, you might want to do something like add the tag on an action, like an event or a form. We even touched on the fact that you can add a tag for a specific type of response. And all that details, all that information that you want to do to customize that lives under details. So that's where we can create our tags, and that's where we can customize our fields as well. All right, hopefully this was helpful in how you would set up the integration, how you would troubleshoot it. You can always reach out to us at support@actionbuilder.org with specific questions. But a lot of groups have been using the sync. They found it helpful as a way to look at their most engaged people, follow up. Again, there's many different use cases for this. In my opinion, it is probably the most efficient way to kind of populate your campaigns. If you want to take it a step further and tracking specific information, it's a good way to do that as well. But I just say, give it a shot, test it. If you have access to Action Network, you can always create a test campaign in Action Builder. You have unlimited accessibility to create campaigns. So I say, give it a try, give it a shot, see how it works. You're not going to break anything, and you might find a way that you can do a better way. You can do your one-on-ones, phone campaigns, identify folks that are potential new leaders, activists, donors, things like that. All right, so that's what I got for you today. I really appreciate you joining, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.